I once told a woman, your millions are not in the future, they are in the unseen, waiting for you to call them forth. She laughed, just as Sarah in the Bible laughed when told she would bear a child. Yet 12 days later, a chain of events unfolded that brought her a fortune she had thought impossible. The truth is, the spirit of supply moves faster than human reason. Divine timing is not measured in years, it can be measured in moments. When a man or woman plants a seed of thought in the garden of their mind, the harvest depends on what they feed it. Fear is a weed, and fear chokes wealth. But faith is the sunshine that brings forth gold from the invisible. If for 12 days you watered your mind with only thoughts of abundance, never letting a single fear root remain, you would call forth your fortune. Your words are the brush that paints your life. Speak words of gold. Instead of I cannot afford, say, I am a millionaire in divine mind, and my wealth flows to me swiftly. A woman once came to me desperate for money to save her home. I told her, you will speak it into being. Say it until it is the only truth in your heart. Within days, the funds arrived from an unexpected source, as if the heavens themselves had written her a check. Do not trouble yourself with the how. The invisible supply chain of God is beyond your imagining. You might be led to a phone call, a meeting, or a letter that shifts your entire fortune in an instant. But if you stare at the visible world for evidence, you will delay the unseen. Trust in what you cannot yet sit is more real than the coins in your hand. Faith without movement is like a locked treasure chest with no key. Step into the life you have spoken, where the attitude of abundance. Walk into a store and look at the finest things as if they already belong to you, not with arrogance, but with the calm certainty of one who knows that all of God's riches are their inheritance. And then, make your inner picture vivid. See yourself signing the check, blessing the money, and using it wisely. Feel the silk of the suit, the glow of the home, the joy of giving generously. Let your imagination be so real that the outer world has no choice but to match it. When the signals come, small blessings, sudden opportunities, receive them with thanksgiving. They are the heralds of your millions. Do not dismiss them as coincidence. They are the golden threads weaving your fortune. Finally, live these 12 days as though the miracle has already happened. Speak wealth, think wealth, walk in wealth, give thanks in advance, and you will not have to wait long for your bank account to confirm what your soul already knows. You are a millionaire. Now, most people imagine wealth as something that takes years' endless toil, sacrifice, and a lifetime of climbing an invisible ladder. But divine timing is a different law altogether. It is the mysterious clock of the universe, unbound by your calendar, your deadlines, or the limits of logic. In the realm of spirit, there is no waiting period for abundance, there is only alignment. When you step into perfect alignment with the idea that your wealth already exists, you set in motion a chain of unseen events. The right people are placed in your path. Opportunities that seemed locked suddenly open, and solutions you never considered appear as if they had been waiting in the wings all along. It is like striking a match in a dark room. The light appears instantly, not slowly, because the conditions for light were met in a single spark. Likewise, your fortune can appear in what seems like the blink of an eye when your faith and intention reach perfect agreement. I have seen men and women go from desperation to overflowing wealth in less than 2 weeks. Not because they worked harder, but because they believed faster. They tuned their minds to the frequency of abundance, refused to entertain fear, and trusted that the divine mind works swifter than human time. When you truly grasp this, you will stop asking how long will it take, and instead say, it could happen today. And when that conviction settles deep into your soul, the universe will surprise you with just how quickly the gold can flow into your hands. Fear is the great thief of fortune. It whispers in the shadows, what if it doesn't work? What if you lose it all? What if you're not worthy? And the moment you accept those thoughts, you begin to close the very gates through which your wealth is meant to arrive. But here is the truth. Fear and abundance cannot live in the same room. One will always push the other out. If you choose to think thoughts of wealth, faith, and gratitude, fear loses its grip. Every time a fearful idea knocks at the door of your mind, you must replace it instantly with a thought that glitters with possibility. A woman once told me she could not stop worrying about her unpaid bills. I said to her, replace that worry with the picture of your mailbox overflowing with checks, not demands. See each envelope as a blessing, and bless it before you even open it. She did as I told her. and in a matter of days, she received a payment she had been owed for years, enough to clear her debts and more. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of wealth, but let weeds of fear grow beside them, the harvest will be strangled. So, every morning, tend to your mental garden. When a fearful image appears, uproot it without hesitation and plant a golden thought in its place. Say to yourself, I am a millionaire in divine mind, and I cannot be robbed of my good. The more you practice this replacement, the faster your energy changes in, the faster wealth begins its journey to you. For the moment, fear is gone, faith becomes the only voice you hear, and faith has the speed of lightning when it comes to delivering miracles. Your words are not harmless sounds, they are living forces that shape the invisible and carve your future. Every sentence you speak is a seed, and those seeds grow into the reality you walk in tomorrow. If you speak lack, you will harvest lack, but if you speak gold, you will walk streets paved with it. There is a rhythm to the spoken word that stirs the soul and moves unseen powers. When you declare, money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways, you are sending out a golden current into the world, a current that gathers opportunities, ideas, and people, and brings them to your door. I once met a man whose business was failing. Every day, he told anyone who would listen, times are tough. I told him, stop prophesying poverty. Speak only of prosperity. I gave him this affirmation: I am linked with an endless supply, and all that is mine by divine right comes to me now. He repeated it like a song, with conviction, morning and night. Within days, a long-forgotten client called, offering a contract that saved his business and made him more money than the past year combined. Words spoken in faith are like golden keys. They unlock doors you did not even know existed, but you must speak them with feeling, not as empty recitation. Feel the truth of your words as if they were already accomplished. When you say, I am a millionaire in divine mind, imagine the weight of the gold in your hands, the warmth of giving generously, the calm of knowing your supply is endless. Speak as though God Himself is listening. Indeed, He is, for your words, when filled with faith, do not vanish into thin air. They travel into the unseen, gather your good, and return with treasure. One of the greatest blocks to wealth is the restless habit of trying to figure out how it will come. The human mind insists on a plan, a map, a step-by-step route, but divine supply works in ways far beyond your calculations. The moment you try to control how your millions will arrive, you shrink the infinite down to the narrow corridors of your own imagination. God's supply chain is invisible, yet flawless. It does not run on deadlines or depend on visible resources. It can use channels you've never thought of, people you haven't met, places you've never been, and events you couldn't predict. I have seen fortunes appear through inheritances from unknown relatives, debts suddenly forgiven, properties sold overnight, and businesses revived in ways no mortal mind could have arranged. I once counseled a man who desperately needed funds for a venture. He spent his days pacing, calculating, and worrying about where the money could possibly come from. I told him, stop trying to write the script, God is the author. Release the how. He finally surrendered and spent a week simply affirming, the money I need comes to me quickly and easily from the perfect source. By the end of that week, an investor whom he had never even pitched called him with an offer. When you let go of the how, you free the divine to work without the chains of your limitations. You open every possible door, even those you cannot see. The truth is, your millions may come in a way so sudden, so creative, and so perfectly timed that you will look back and laugh at the smallness of your former plans. Faith is the spark, but action is the flame that lights the way for your wealth to arrive. When your thoughts are rich but your actions are poor, you create a conflict in the very energy you're trying to release. You cannot affirm, I am a millionaire, while behaving as if you are powerless or trapped. Your steps must agree with your words. Alignment means that every choice, every movement, every small habit reflects the reality you are calling forth. If you believe abundance is yours, you will walk with a lifted head, speak with confidence, and make decisions from a place of plenty, not fear. You will treat your current resources with care, as a steward of great wealth, even if you hold only a few coins. I once knew a woman who wanted to manifest a luxury boutique of her own. She affirmed daily, visualized it vividly, but still dressed in worn clothes at home, and allowed her current little shop to look dull and neglected. I told her, you must prepare for what you've asked for. God sends no banquet to an unprepared table. She took my advice and began dressing as if she already owned her dream boutique, decorating her current shop beautifully, and serving her few customers as if they were royalty. Within weeks, a wealthy client offered to partner with her and fund her expansion. Keeping faith unshaken is just as vital. There will be days when evidence seems absent, when the outer world tempts you to doubt, but true alignment means refusing to let appearances dictate your belief. Your eyes may see little, but your spirit must see everything. In those moments, you act as if the promise has already been delivered, knowing that your unwavering faith keeps the pathway for abundance wide open. Imagination is not a child's game, it is the workshop of creation. Every fortune that has ever been built was first constructed in the invisible realm of thought. Before the marble is carved, the artist sees the statue. Before the harvest, the farmer sees the field ripe with grain. And before your millions appear, you must see yourself living them in every detail. The mind does not know the difference between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. When you imagine with intensity, you impress your subconscious with the blueprint of your desire, and your subconscious, in turn, sends it to the infinite to be made real. This is why vague daydreaming produces little, but a living, breathing, sensory-rich vision produces miracles. Picture yourself waking up in the home of your dreams. Feel your feet sink into the softness of the carpet. Hear the quiet hum of your luxury car waiting in the driveway. Smell the rich aroma of the coffee brewed in your sunlit kitchen. Imagine signing a generous check to bless a cause close to your heart, the ink flowing across the paper with ease and joy. The more real it becomes in your inner world, the sooner it must show itself in the outer. I once guided a man who was struggling to imagine abundance because his life had been nothing but scarcity. I told him, borrow the details from anywhere. You can pictures, books, memories of the finest moments you've had. Build your inner mansion one room at a time. Within months, he found himself traveling abroad for work, staying in hotels that mirrored the visions he had so faithfully built in his mind. When you live in the image before it arrives, you send a clear, unshakable signal to the universe. This is who I am. This is where I belong, and I am ready now. And the universe, with its unfailing accuracy, delivers to match the life you have already rehearsed in the theater of your soul. Wealth rarely appears without sending whispers ahead of its arrival. These whispers are divine signals, small, sparkling, hints from the universe that your millions are on the move. The untrained eye calls them coincidences, but those who walk in faith know better. They are the gentle knock of opportunity at your door, preparing you to open it wide. These signals may appear as unexpected gifts, chance meetings, sudden bursts of inspiration, or even small sums of money arriving in surprising ways. They may come as a strong inner urge to take a certain path, call a certain person, or make a certain move without knowing why. If you dismiss them as nothing, you may miss the very stepping stones leading to your fortune. I once worked with a gentleman who dreamed of a large real estate deal but had seen no progress for months. Then, out of nowhere, an old friend he hadn't spoken to in years called to catch up. During their conversation, the friend mentioned a property about to go on the market, exactly the type he had been seeking. That random phone call became the spark that led to his $1 million breakthrough. The key is to receive these signals with gratitude, no matter how small they seem. When a coin appears on the sidewalk, bless it as if it were a gold bar. When you get an idea, in the quiet hours, honor it as a divine instruction. These are not accidents, they are the universe showing you that the tide has turned, that the harvest is growing, that your wealth is already walking toward you. The more you notice these signals and act upon them, the stronger and more frequent they become, until they lead you straight into the overflowing stream of abundance you have been calling forth. Acting as if is not a game of pretending. It is the bold declaration that you trust the promise more than the present evidence. When you carry yourself as a millionaire before a single coin has landed in your hand, you are saying to the universe, I believe so completely that I no longer wait to celebrate. This faith-infused behavior calls your good to you with magnetic speed. Gratitude is the heartbeat of this principle. You do not wait until the bank account swells to feel thankful. You breathe thanks into every moment right now. You thank God for the unseen millions, as though they were already counted, spent, and multiplied in good works. Gratitude is a magnet, and it pulls your desire into the now. I once advised a woman who was desperate for financial rescue. Instead of drowning in worry, I told her to begin each morning by thanking God for the exact sum she desired. speaking it out loud with joy. She walked, talked, and dressed as though she had already received it. Within 2 weeks, her employer surprised her with a massive bonus and promotion together, equaling the very figure she had been blessing with her words. Acting as if also means aligning your choices with abundance. You carry yourself with the quiet dignity of someone who knows their wealth is inevitable. You give generously within your means. You speak confidently about your future, and you treat your current possessions as though they are treasures. This behavior sends a signal to the infinite that you are ready to steward the fortune that is already yours in divine mind. When you live this way, you collapse the gap between the seen and unseen. The world around you begins to shift to match the reality you are already embodying, until one day, your outer life catches up completely with the truth you have been walking in all along. The journey to becoming a millionaire in 12 days is not about straining, forcing, or chasing. It is about aligning, believing, and receiving. Wealth does not come merely to those who work the hardest, but to those who think, speak, and act in harmony with the laws of the divine. When you understand that divine timing can bring your good in an instant, that fear must be replaced by faith that your words create worlds, and that the how belongs to God alone, you step into the flow of limitless supply. When you align your actions with abundance, live in the vivid reality of your imagined wealth, recognize the signals of its arrival, and act as if you already possess it. Gratitude pouring from your heart, you unlock the gates of fortune. These are not empty philosophies. They are spiritual laws, as certain as gravity. The only question is whether you will dare to live them fully for the next 12 days. For if you do, you may just look back, amazed at how swiftly your millions arrive, as a miracle from afar, but as the natural expression of the wealth that was always yours.